So it looks like there's some challenges for you right now. And sometimes that really happens, because we're entering your birthday phase. And for a lot of people, let me just organize that quickly. For a lot of people, when we're dealing with, when we're coming up on our birthdays, because it's the end of our personal wheel of the year, a lot of times we go through that where we're very reflective and we're thinking back on our past year. What have been our successes and challenges? What have been the areas where we did not feel successful or happy with things? What are our growth opportunities? Right, for sure. So a lot of you may be going through that experience right now. Just know that that's natural for you, and that you will reach that point where you're feeling more positive in your life. But this card is the one on the bottom of the deck, and it's the Six of Imps. It is in the reverse position. In the upright, it's a card of victory and success. But some of you may be feeling as though you have not achieved some kind of success in your life. And I am seeing a lot of reversals in this reading, in this layout right now. And it does look like there's been a lot of challenges. So it may be too, because we've got Virgo retrogrades and we've got other things like that. And although I'm not an astronomer or astrologer or whatever it's called, I know that sometimes when we have these retrogrades, it can be very, very challenging. And this time of year tends to be a reflexive time for a lot of people. And certainly Scorpio is no exception to that. Now we have the Five of Ghosts covering you, which is kind of a disappointment energy. It's about looking at loss, right? We're looking at loss. We're not necessarily seeing the help and the opportunities that's coming to us. This is a card of disappointment. Right, disappointment. Look, the ghosts in the background are feeling concerned, right? Oh, I didn't mean to mention that. I'm working today with the Halloween Tarot deck, which I've had this deck since somewhere in the 90s, maybe early 2000s. I really love this deck. It's a favorite of mine. And I love to pull it out this time of year. But the Five of Ghosts is about that sense of disappointment. It's also crossed by the Sun in reverse. In the upright, it's the happiest card in the deck. But given this disappointment, given the reversal of that, it could be that maybe you're experiencing some kind of shadow side right now. That there's something that's blocking your joy. It has to do with a disappointment. But the fact that this is the Sun card in the reverse and not, say, the Nine of Swords, which would be Batson here, indicates to me it could have to do with an attitude that you're looking at something. So be very careful that you're not blocking your own happiness based on attitude. Even as we're feeling that sense of a loss, something, his bucket is overturned and spilling out. But one thing, there's another bucket right here. But the pumpkin person's not really looking at that. He's also got friends and support behind him. So don't forget that. Oh, just a little quickie note here. I do have Eagle River on in the background. So don't, you're not hallucinating if you think you hear water. Now, crowning you, we have the Moon in the reverse. And in the upright, this can be about, mental illness, a loss of control of one's passions. It can be about a lack of clarity. It could be obfuscation. It could be, all kinds of things that keep us from the truth. In the reverse, it's kind of like the truth is out. The truth is out in a situation, and this could be what's on your mind. It could be what's coming to pass. So I think that, when we tie this in with the Knight of Bats, it's beneath you, right? This is about somebody who's deceptive, who's betraying, who's gossiping, who's saying bad things behind your back, who's deceitful, who's hurtful. Possibly an air sign, not necessarily. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but not necessarily. But there's definitely been some trickery and some nonsense going on behind the scenes. If there's some drama and you're caught up in it, that could be why you're feeling bummed out. Maybe somebody that you thought was a friend is not really your friend, and you're finding that out the hard way. Through pain and loss and disappointment and hurt. Just because this Five of Ghosts is appearing here and there's a bucket in the upright doesn't mean that you've got nothing to feel disappointed about. On the contrary. But there will be releasing your emotions that'll be necessary for you to be able to move on and let go of the hurt and the betrayal that you're feeling. And it's not going to be easy. You know, it's never easy to deal with that kind of disappointment. Now, behind you, we have the Temperance card in reverse. And this is about peaceful waiting in the upright. But in the reverse, it's not peaceful. It's impatience. It's a struggle to wait. It's a struggle going on. So there's that sense of disappointment and lack of joy and something happening, right? Somebody who's backstabbing or betraying or whatever. Something negative. And it's been a difficult thing for you to wait. Waiting to get information, waiting for some change that you've been wanting to go on in life. Maybe you didn't get something that you were hoping, like a promotion at work or some kind of movement in your career path. It's possible that that's not happening for you and that had something to do with your disappointment right now. We also see on the bottom of the deck here, the Six of Imps card, as I mentioned before, that's the opposite of victory, the opposite of success. So whatever it was that you were trying for did not seem to pan out. And with the Eight of Bats here, we have you in a mental situation. I don't mean necessarily mental illness, although that could be a factor because, remember, this Moon card does have to do with mental illness. Look at this guy howling at the moon over here. This werewolf. They look afraid and freaked out. This dog here, the French bulldog, he's the contrast. He's the domesticated dog that is in self-control. Whereas we've got this howling beast over here. He's not in control of himself. Even the skull is scared. The cat looks pissed. This is a symbol of Cancer right here. Cancer is ruled by the moon, although the Moon card has associations with the suit of Pisces. But this is in the reverse. It could be that you were betrayed by a Pisces or simply that the information's coming out. But this Eight of Bats has to do with a mental conundrum or quandary that you find yourself in. Bats is swords in other decks. Bats is mental. Now, these bats are either tightening the binds, tightening the mummy wraps, or they're loosening them up. But I think they're trying to help her here. This one looks like he's going over, and this one this way, which would be an unwinding. Same with these. He's swooping in to do that. It looks like they're helping her unwrap all of that and figure it out. The cat's on his own, I'm sure, being a cat. But this is about the mental kind of a prison that we put ourselves in. This is about anxiety. This card's a huge anxiety card. The water is still and the night is clear. We can see the moon. We've got the stars out here. This person's blinded because she's sort of wrapped in her own thoughts. She's wrapped in her own, I want to say, self-oppression in a sense. And then this card here, this card represents you. This is the Ten of Imps. Imps is about responsibility. The Imps is the fire sign, but this is about a great deal of responsibility. We got Quasimodo with the hump going on over here. That's a burden as well, I'm sure. Could be orthopedic shoes. Poor thing. But whatever. He's carrying all this crap. In the reverse, it's sort of like you're getting rid of your responsibilities. Could be because of the anxiety. Maybe you're not able to keep up with your responsibilities right now because of the anxiety that you've been feeling. And that could be because of the sense of a betrayal and disappointment, because this Knight of Bats, this air sign energy in the reverse, that's kind of messing you up a little bit right now. The King of Bats is in your environment. That could either be you cutting somebody out of your life that's toxic for you, or it could be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius person. And again, we kind of had that a little bit with the Knight of Bats in the reverse. This person's in the upright, though. This is somebody who's fair and just and logical and wise, intellectually gifted. This could be your take on it. Maybe you know exactly what's going on from an intellectual basis. But if this is you, in spite of the fact that you're putting it together on the outside, there's all of this going on the inside. The internal turmoil. So my guess is this is probably somebody else for you. Somebody else in your life. Could be a maid, a partner, somebody who's helping you. Could just be the situation, and that you know exactly what you need to do to cut out this Knight of Bats person that's kind of messing with you right now, messing with your head. Hopes and fears, you got the Ace of Pumpkins in the reverse. Now, the beginning of financial success, the beginning of a job offer, job opportunity, whatever. I think some of you guys have been trying to get a new job or start a new business or something like that. But there's either a delay or you were turned down for the job. And that's in part what some of this stuff is about. You didn't get the advancement, which is why we see that lack of success. There will be other bigger, better things going on. But it seems that this Tower energy, this sense of clearing that you were hoping to do, you were hoping possibly to move on from your current job into something new. This is reversed. This is delayed energy. But at some point, it's going to need to be cleared out because wherever you are, whatever your job is that you're doing right now, you're not happy with it. And because you're not able to clear it out, you didn't get the new job to be able to put this tower and say, I'm over it. I'm sick of building somebody else's mousetrap, so to speak. This is where this anxiety energy is coming from because you're not able to leave that yucky position that you were in, that yucky job. Or the job that's got the treachery at work, the vicious gossip at the water cooler, that kind of nasty stuff that goes on sometimes in businesses in those types of environments. So let me see. I'm going to shuffle our oracle cards that I'm working with today. We're working with the Alice in Wonderland oracle cards. These cards are absolutely fabulous. I love it. Anyhow, let me shuffle those for you and see if we can't figure out if there's some word of advice, wisdom, guidance for you. Oh, we had a jumper here. Yes. Set your course. I love the cats in this thing. They're scary as hell. So let me look this up real quick and see. Okay. Know where to, set your course. Know where you wish to go. Have a plan, the right direction. Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here? That depends a good deal on where you want to get to, said the cat. I don't much care where, said Alice. Then it doesn't matter which way you go, said the cat. Alice, like so many of us, wants to know which way she ought to go. You may be asking yourself which way to go, which direction to head in. This can include questioning what your sole purpose is, or asking for advice from others on what you ought to do, which way to take your life, what decisions to make, and what you need to do next. Alice is rather lost in Wonderland, and when we are lost, it is only natural to ask those who seem to know more than we do for advice on what we ought to do and where we need to head. But, as the Cheshire Cat points out so cleverly, the right direction for Alice depends on where Alice wishes to go. It is the same for you. So now you must spend some time focusing your thoughts towards knowing where it is you wish to go. Once you have a better idea of your desired destination, the ambition you wish to achieve, or the dreams you wish to create, you will know what to do. Until you know that, it will be very hard for anyone to offer you any advice at all. This also applies to the advice you give yourself. Don't flail about and don't be at the mercy of other people's advice or opinions. Ask yourself what you want to do. Ask yourself what you want to create, do, achieve, and be. You can then seek the very best advice and head in the best direction for you. Know where you wish to go in this life. Set goals. Write a wish list of accomplishments. Sorry about that. Realizing that to bring your dreams into reality, you need to know what it is that you want to do, be, or create. The refusal to be flotsam any longer. Strike out in the best direction for you. If you do need additional advice or would like a personal reading, be sure to check out my website, serenitymatters1111.com, and book your personal reading. Remember that these are just general readings too. So, take it as it applies for you. It may not resonate with every person viewing, but, for sure that's one option if you did wish to try that. But for sure, I wish you all the best of luck. And try to be patient with yourself too. You're in this birthday season, and a lot of times that involves introspection. The Scorpio season tends to involve that anyway, just because of the energy for Scorpio. It's a very psychic period of time and very intuitive, but we also begin to go inward as we face the closing of the year and start to go into our winter mode. But with that in mind, happy birthday, Scorpio. I wish you all the best of luck and lots of love. Thank you for sharing your time with me.